She shoved past me at the pharmacy counter and screamed, "I'm in a rush. Some of us have important things to do." What she didn't know? I was picking up my cancer medication, and what she really didn't know? The pharmacist was my former student. By the time Karen walked out 2 hours later, she wasn't just embarrassed, she was banned from every location in the chain. Hey everyone, Grandma's back, and oh boy, do I have a story that'll make your blood boil before it makes you cheer? Before we get into this absolutely delicious pharmacy karma, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because I'm serving up justice daily, and you don't want to miss a single dose, pun intended. Your support keeps these entitled people getting the reality checks they desperately need. All right, let's talk about the day Kieran messed with the wrong cancer patient. So this story is about a woman we'll call Margaret, 76 years old. Breast cancer survivor, currently in remission, but still on maintenance medication. Now, Margaret's been going to the same pharmacy for 15 years. Same location, knows all the staff, they know her. She's that sweet lady who always says thank you, asks about their families, brings cookies during the holidays. An actual decent human being. Every month, Margaret goes in to pick up her prescription. It's an immunosuppressant medication that she has to take to prevent the cancer from coming back. This isn't like picking up allergy pills or vitamins. This is life or death medication. And because Margaret's immunocompromised, she has to be careful about exposure to illness. So she times her pharmacy visits for early afternoon on weekdays, when it's usually quieter. On this particular Tuesday, Margaret walks into the pharmacy right at 2 p.m. There's one person ahead of her at the counter. Teenage kid picking up acne medication. Super quick transaction. Margaret's got her prescription ready, her insurance card out. She's prepared because she's considerate like that. The pharmacist, will call him David, sees Margaret and smiles. He's known her for years. But before Margaret can step up to the counter, a tornado in Lululemon and fake designer sunglasses comes barreling through the door. This is Karen, mid-40s, the kind of highlighted hair that screams, "I want to speak to your manager," carrying a purse that probably costs more than David makes in a week, and wearing an expression like the world owes her everything. Karen doesn't get in line. Karen doesn't wait her turn. Karen walks straight to the counter, physically stepping in front of Margaret, nearly knocking her over in the process. Margaret, who's 76 and recovering from cancer, has to grab the counter to steady herself. "Excuse me," Margaret says politely, because that's what we do. We're polite first. I was next in line. Karen doesn't even look at her, just talks right over her to David. "I need to pick up my prescription. It's under Sullivan, and I'm in a rush, so make it quick." David, bless him, is trying to be professional. "Ma'am, this customer was here first. I'll help you as soon as. I don't have time for this." Karen snaps. "I have a very important appointment in 30 minutes, and I need my medication now." Some of us have important things to do. Let that sink in for a second. This woman just told a cancer patient that her time is more important. Margaret's just standing there, holding her prescription bottle, trying not to shake from an effort of staying upright after nearly being knocked over. And Karen's acting like Margaret's existence is an inconvenience. Now, here's where it gets interesting. David recognizes Margaret immediately, not just as a regular customer, but as someone special. You see, that was 15 years ago. David was in Margaret's 5th grade class. Margaret was the teacher who stayed after school to help him with reading when he was struggling. She was the one who encouraged him to apply for pharmacy school when everyone else told him to be. Realistic. She wrote his recommendation letter. She came to his graduation. Margaret doesn't remember every student after 45 years of teaching, but David remembers her. And David just watched this entitled woman nearly knocked his favorite teacher over and tell her that her life-saving medication is less important than whatever Karen needs. David's face goes from customer service smile to ice cold, but his voice stays perfectly professional. "Of course, ma'am. I'll need to verify a few things first. Can you step aside for just one moment while I help this customer who was here first? Then I'll get right to you." Karen's face turns red. Are you serious right now? I just told you I'm in a rush. I don't have time to wait for some old lady who probably doesn't even have anything important to pick up. Margaret, who's been silent this whole time, finally speaks. Her voice is quiet but steady. I'm picking up my cancer medication, dear. I'm immunocompromised, so I do need to get home soon to avoid exposure to illness. But I can't wait a few more minutes if you truly have an emergency. The pharmacy goes silent. The other customers in line are staring. The pharmacy tech in the bag stops what she's doing. Even Karen looks momentarily uncomfortable, but only momentarily. Well, I have an emergency too. Karen huffs, recovering quickly. I have a very important event tonight, and I need my prescription. David turns to his computer. Of course, let me pull up your file. He's typing, and his eyebrows go up slightly. Miss Sullivan, I see here you're picking up. Phentermine? The appetite suppressant? Karen snatches her phone out, not even acknowledging the question. Yes, whatever. Just, David looks at Margaret, then back at Karen, then at the prescription. Diet pills. This woman shoved a cancer patient out of line, nearly knocked her over, and screamed about having something more important to do because she's picking up diet pills for a party outfit. You can see the decision happen in real time on David's face. Miss Sullivan, I'm going to need to verify this prescription with your doctor. It'll take a few minutes. Please have a seat in the waiting area. What? What? I've been taking these for months. Standard protocol for controlled substances, ma'am. Please have a seat. I'll call you when it's ready. Karen looks like she's about to explode. But there are now 4 other people in line watching this unfold. And even she can read the room enough to know she's not winning this. She storms over to the waiting area, loudly sighing and checking her watch every 30 seconds. David immediately turns to Margaret. Mrs. Thompson, I am so sorry about that. Let me get your prescription right away. His voice is warm now, completely different from the ice he gave Karen. David? Margaret squints at his name tag, then her face lights up. David Chone? Oh my goodness, I didn't recognize you. Look at you, all grown up. Yes, ma'am. And I never forgot what you did for me. He's already processing her prescription, moving fast. This'll just take 2 minutes. I have it ready in the back. While David's helping Margaret, he's also doing something else. He's pulling up Karen's prescription history, and he's noticing some things, like the fact that Karen's been picking up this appetite suppressant every month for 8 months, which is longer than it's typically prescribed. He's seeing that she's doctor shopping, getting prescriptions from 3 different physicians. And most importantly, he's seeing that her insurance has actually flagged her account for potential misuse. This gives David options. Legal, ethical, by-the-book options, but options that are going to make Karen's day very long. He gets Margaret's medication carefully packed with written instructions because she's immunocompromised, and he wants to make sure she's taking it safely. He processes her insurance. He even throws in a coupon that saves her $15. The whole transaction takes 4 minutes. You take care of yourself, Mrs. Thompson, and thank you again for everything you did for me. Margaret, who still doesn't fully realize what's happening, smiles. You are always such a good student. David, I'm so proud of you. She takes her medication and leaves. The second Margaret is out the door, David picks up the phone. He calls Karen's prescribing physician, not to be petty, but because he's legally required. To verify prescriptions that show signs of misuse, the doctor's office puts him on hold for 45 minutes. Meanwhile, Karen's in the waiting area, getting more agitated by the minute. She tries to come back to the counter twice. David politely tells her he's still waiting for verification. She demands to speak to the manager. David is the lead pharmacist on duty. She threatens to call corporate. David says, "That's absolutely your right, ma'am." When the doctor's office finally calls back, they confirm what David suspected. They didn't authorize a refill yet. Karen called in the prescription herself, claiming the doctor approved it. That's prescription fraud. The doctor's office is now canceling her prescription entirely and refusing to prescribe controlled substances to her anymore. David goes to the waiting area Miss Sullivan, I've spoken with your doctor's office. They've indicated they did not authorize this refill and are discontinuing this prescription. I cannot fill this for you. Karen loses IT, screaming about how she needs it. How dare they? This is discrimination. She's calling her lawyer. She's calling corporate. She knows the district manager. The works. David remains calm. Ma'am, I understand you're upset, but I need you to lower your voice. There are other customers here. I don't care about other customers. That old hag got her pills in 5 minutes, and I've been waiting for an hour. Wrong move. So wrong. Because now she's not just being rude, she's specifically targeting a cancer patient. And the other customers in line, they heard everything. They know Margaret has cancer. They watched Karen cut in line, and they're done. One customer, a man in his 50s, speaks up. She has cancer. You cut in front of her for diet pills. Have some decency. This sets Karen off even more. She starts yelling at the other customers now. David calls security. Mall security shows up, asks Karen to leave. She refuses. They call the police for trespassing. Actual police show up, while Karen said being escorted out still, screaming about her. Writes David files an incident. Report with corporate. Not because he wants to be vindictive, but because Karen threatened violence. I'll make sure you lose your job. Committed potential prescription fraud and created a hostile environment for other customers, including a cancer patient. Corporate takes it very seriously. Within 24 hours, Karen receives a letter. She's banned from all pharmacy locations in the chain, all 247 stores in the state. Her prescription records are flagged. She'll have to find a new pharmacy. And good luck explaining to them why she was banned from her previous one. But here's my favorite part. Remember how Karen said she had a very important event that night? Turns out it was her high school reunion. She posted about it constantly on Facebook, bragging about how amazing she was going to look. Well, without her diet pills, which she'd been relying on for months, she had a complete meltdown. She ended up not going to the reunion at all. And her social media friends, they found out about the pharmacy incident because one of the customers in line that day posted about it. It went viral in their local community. Karen cuts off cancer patient for diet pills made the rounds. Screenshots everywhere. Margaret, meanwhile, has no idea any of this happened. She took her medication, she's healthy. And when David saw her the next month, he just smiled and processed her prescription like always. That's the beautiful thing. About real karma, the victim doesn't even need to lift a finger. The universe, with a little help from a former student who never forgot his favorite teacher, handles it all. And that is how you handle a pharmacy. Line cutter who thinks her vanity is more important than someone's life-saving cancer medication. Margaret stayed kind. David stayed professional. And Karen? Karen learned that when you treat people like they're beneath you, eventually someone will treat you exactly as you deserve. You know what Grandma always says? Kindness plants seeds you don't always see grow, but they do. And sometimes they grow into pharmacists who've got your back when Karen's attack. Margaret planted seeds of kindness 40 years ago. David made sure they blossomed into the sweetest revenge. If this story made you want to applaud David and hug Margaret, smash that like button right now. Subscribe because I've gotten more entitled people getting destroyed by their own behavior coming your way. And drop a comment. Have you ever witnessed someone being cruel to a sick or elderly person? What happened? Would you have handled it like David? Grandma wants to hear all your stories. Remember, folks, Grandma's bringing you fresh karma stories every single day. So hit that notification bell. Next time someone acts like their convenience is more important than someone else's health. Remember, Margaret and David, stay kind, stay patient, and trust that the people you've helped along the way will remember. This is Grandma reminding you that teachers change lives. And sometimes, decades later, those lives return the favor. Peace, everyone.